I'm a cripple, got too many rooms. Swish, I got shooters in the field, they running zones. When I switch, make some shake for me, stop playing. On stepping, I'm a rockstar and Ramones.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jacob, also known as Pick Management, back here with Cam and Mr. Smackington himself, Greg. We are ready to break down another episode of the NBA Insiders. Round 2 of the NBA playoffs is in full swing. And man, round 1, I mean, these game 1s were a little crazy. The Minnesota just beat the hell out of Denver. Bad showing by them. We had a great game. The Knicks-Pacers game was great. High scoring. The Bucks totals got smashed. So we hit on that. I do have to say before we start, we have been smashing these NBA bets. I swept yesterday. Cam, what did he hit? A plus 1796 and then a plus 496 parlay. Greg has been smashing all of his best picks. We just can't be stopped right now. So if you are not watching the NBA Insider, you are doing something wrong. But before we get started on today's picks, I got to tell you, you need to sign up for the Rhythm app. Rhythm is going to teach you everything you need to know about building predictive sports models. If you don't want to learn how to build models, then you are not a sports bettor. No, I'm just kidding. But they will teach you everything you need to know about building models. And if you want, you can follow along their pre-built models powered by their AI software, which has been dominating. They predicted every single NC State upset and their loss in March Madness. And now their AI caddy is predicting hole-by-hole outcomes per golfer in every major PGA tournament, and it is just unreal. If you are into live betting golf, you don't get much better than the AI caddy. So make sure you guys check out Rhythm. It is free to use. They have a free-to-use section and then a paid section that you're going to want to check out. It's a free 7-day trial right now. Sign up below, click that little link, and get started. But Cam, Greg, you guys ready to dig into this?
Get busy.
Do it.
All right. Well, Cam, why don't you go ahead and take over with your first best bet?
Okay, cool. So starting Boston, Cleveland.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I think this is gonna be a fun series. I'm not truly sure if it'll go 5 or 6 yet. But I do think the flow of the series is pretty indicative on what happens tonight. But the two plays I like the most in the game, I like the Cleveland total over 98.5. I know Boston's a really good defensive team. However, I think tonight I think it'll be more so a game where they're kind of getting up and down a lot more. And that's why I also like basically almost everybody for a 3-pointer. But Darius Garland over 1.5 3-pointers. It's something that last series he was in a pretty deep rut. I think within this series, with him going up against even stiffer competition, I think one thing that'll be a blessing for him is that whoever the best wing defender will probably have to guard Donovan Mitchell. So Drew Holiday will be on him. Derek White will be on him a lot. But I do think a lot of attention will be predicated towards Donovan Mitchell. So I think he will get open enough to hit at least 2 threes. And then I also like Sam Hauser over 1.5 threes. He went 3 for 3. 1 for 3, and then 3 for 4 in 3 games against Cleveland this year. He's actually like Nas Reed and like Jaden McDaniels. Most books don't have them available until about 20 minutes before the game. That's just how the books are because they know a good bet when they see one. So you kind of have to wait for Sam until probably about 6:35, and he'll probably finally start popping up in books. But those are my favorite bets from this game specifically.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you. I like the pace of play. I think is going to be faster. Honestly, I don't think this gets to 5 or 6. I think Boston's going to sweep Cleveland. The fact that Cleveland struggled so much with Orlando makes me think that they are going to just get dominated here. Greg, I know you have something on this Cavs team, and you're looking a little upset. So tell me, what do you want for this one?
Damn, Jacob the Broom?
Yeah.
Man. All right, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna say I see the broom, all right? I will say that, yes, they had a very trying turmoil first round. But that's because Orlando, they're from South Florida. I mean, they watched Miami build their whole organization off of grit. So they try to emulate that for one. All right. But let's not forget that, Cavs was basically 1 or 2 seed almost all season until injuries became evident. And Boston Cavs cover the spread like a lot. I'm taking
Porzingis. No Porzingis is interesting. It's very interesting.
I
If
could
Jared
care.
Allen plays,
If he was there, it don't matter, man. Points is points, cover is cover. Allen might not play, but guess what?
Right.
Evan Mobley is setting records. All right, my boy had more blocks in that series than Magic had the whole series. You know what I'm saying? So, expect Cleveland right now to really find their footing. All right, they seem to get over a hump, and I like that they got over the hump of Orlando now. See, Boston's going to still come in this thinking that they're destined for greatness. It's their turn, it's their time, but they're going to be laxed. All right, you cannot be lax on a team like Cavs. Cavs are still gritty too, and they also know how to get to the meat. Right? They played great chess with Orlando. All right, I did think Orlando was going to win Game 7, but let's just say that Cavs found their second or third gear and decided to do what works best for them, and that's playing a 2-man game. All right, so if they can continue to play this great 2-man game, I definitely think that 11.5 is too many. I think I took it down to 10.5 because I want some plus money. Cavs on the road, 10.5, coming off a great Game 7 win. Boston's been sitting for a while. They're not going to be as active probably as you would think. And Cavs also have D, apparently. I mean, they held Orlando to some points. So let's not expect Boston to just run away with this, Jacob. Okay?
Well, Greg, I got to tell you, I think that this Cavs team burned out the clutch finding that second and third gear in round 1 because I really like this Boston team. Let me tell you, Boston is 9-1 straight up their last 10 games at home versus Cleveland, 17-2 straight up their last 19 games at home. 6-1 straight up their last 7, 4-1 ATS their last 5. We've seen the over hit in 13 out of their last 19. They are just rolling right now. And this Cavs team could be pretty affected by injury. That Jared Allen injury could be really, really damaging to the team. We've seen Cleveland just 1-4 ATS their last 5. 7-13. 0-6 straight up their last 6 games on the road. So they have struggled to get a bit against this Boston team. I do live in Massachusetts, so I guess I am a Boston fan now.
Okay.
I didn't take them on. I didn't take a side here just because, if you watch the show, I do not like double-digit spreads. I try to stay away from them as much as possible. So I took Boston team total over 111.5. And I also took the Boston-Cleveland over 209. My Rhythm app model has it at, what is it? Let me tell you. Has this as a 109.1 to 99.6 for Boston. So it has Boston covering and, going over. So
I just want to point out, in the last 3 games played in Boston, Cleveland has covered 2 of them, and one of them was a double-digit spread.
Okay. Listen, I am rooting for you. We can both win this. I just don't think that Cleveland wins outright. So, I'm going to stay away from it. But I think we see points in this one. I do. Because Boston may be a little bit slower off the jump because of a couple of days rest, I think Cleveland might be able to score a few more early points. So I might be looking towards the first half over for Cleveland for their team total. I didn't take a look at it, but I will when it gets closer to game time. But next game up.
Now, sorry, before we finish, Cam, the boy Hauser over there for Boston, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a 3-point killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I expect Cleveland to have him match with Sam Merrill this series.
Yeah, I think also Karis LeVert is another dark horse to have a very impactful series as well. The last time they played, they won. Yeah, because the Cavs won by 1 back in March. He only had like 10 points, but he went 4 for 10 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. So he gets shots up. So if he plays like he did Sunday,
it's going to be the bench. The bench was going to be important for this.
100%. 100%.
Yep.
All right, my bad, Jacob. I just wanted to.
No, you're cool. You're cool. Hey, listen, I like when you guys chop it up, so it's not a problem. Next game up, though, we have the what is it? I'm sorry, I just lost track of it.
OKC.
Yeah, we'll
Dallas.
do OKC. Yeah, OKC versus the Mavs. OKC minus 160 on the money line, 3.5 on the spread. Over under set at 218.5. Greg, why don't you take over? Let us know what you think about this one.
Yeah, like I was telling you last one, this is probably going to be my favorite series of round 2. I'm just excited for this series. Everyone's going to be thinking it's going to do one thing or it's going to do another. A lot of people are just going to be leaning towards the one-on-ones between Shea and Kai. I don't really think this series is going to be based off of that type of a monument. Jason Kidd knows what he has to do with OKC, and OKC knows what they have to do with Dallas. They always seem to play each other a little loose, if you know what I mean. Like, they're not really playing up on the person. They're trying to get the other guy the chance to get their shots off so they can have more bragging rights, whatnot. I see this game having no defense, like absolutely zero defense for game 1. I definitely know that Shai is going up against his mentors and Kai, and I know Kai finally has a successful full season coming into postseason right now. That's why he's been so phenomenal. He doesn't have no extra weight stressing him out about anything. He can just go out there and play ball, which is why the Mavs have been just looking phenomenal with him. But I couldn't pick a side either. I don't know what I really want this series to do yet besides go over 6 games. I just know it's going to be fast-paced, full of electric highlights, and possibly this could be an overtime series. Like 3 of the 4 games should hit overtime.
You know, I could see this is probably the best matchup of the playoffs so far. This is going to be a battle. Honestly, I wish that these two teams were meeting later. You know what I mean? But this is how it worked out. I'll tell you for this one,
That's why I'm just taking the over, man.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I'll tell you, I am also on the over in this one. I'm on over 217. I'll tell you why though. My rhythm model has this like spot on 113.7 to 106.8, so just eclipsing that. So I'm paying a little bit of juice for a little bit of protection here. But for basically all the reasons you just said, these two teams are offensively dominant. The over has hit in 7 out of the last 8 meetings between OKC and Dallas. OKC on a 9-0 run. They're 8-0 versus the West, 7-0 right now at home. But Dallas 4-1 straight up the last 5, 4-1 ATS the last 5. They have seen a lot of unders recently on the road, but I think that's more so their opponent and not their scoring. We have seen them be able to put up a bunch of points, and the last 10 meetings between these two teams have seen 7 of them go over. Dallas currently averaging 117.11 points overall against OKC, 119.4. So I like the
healthy.
What's up?
And they're healthy.
Yep, definitely healthy. Cam, what do you think about this one?
I think it's I think this series goes 2 ways. It's going to be very competitive, or I think OKC is very dominant. Similar to Minnesota, Oklahoma City's defenses can't, when they want to play well, when they want to play at a high level, they can. I did choose a side. I took OKC money line because I just don't want to have to worry about the points, because I do think tonight could be a close game. I do think this is the best version of Kyrie Irving we've ever seen. And I think it'll be interesting after Jason Kidd just got an extension yesterday for about another 3 years. It'll be interesting to see how he responds, what kind of level of urgency he wants to show after Mark Cuban just gave him all that money. But I think Kyrie Irving also understands how important it is for him to have his own year of achievements and glory with another player that isn't LeBron James. So I think both teams have separate motivations. But similar to Minnesota, I don't think OKC is afraid of the moment. And Mike Conley said it about Minnesota last night, like they're so young that they don't really understand what the moment is. So like OKC goes into that game tonight, like they're lax. We've been off 4 or 5 days. LA Dallas just came off this, they just came off this hard fought series, and they're coming in. They're still healthy, but it's been a tough series. So I think tonight specifically, I think OKC may get out to a quick start. Dallas catches up towards the end of the game, and then it's a close one down to the end. But I think OKC pulls away. But I also think SGA goes over 34.5 points and assists. He's been pretty consistent against them all year. At times in this game, it will come down to them kind of headhunting, trying to figure out who the worst defender on the court is in the moment. Because one thing Dallas will have to do is keep up with OKC and scoring tonight. As crazy as it sounds, but similar to that Boston series, when you have like so many consistent guys that can come off your bench, when you have the Isaiah Joes, when you have another Aaron Wiggins, when you have Jalen Williams, the one off the bench, when you have all of these guys, and then if Gordon Hayward can even give them 40% of what Gordon Hayward was a year and a half ago, it's really hard to beat this team. So OKC is 2-8 against the spread. So I just stayed away from the spread. I do think they win tonight. And I think it'll also be interesting how Chet Holmgren has to guard Derek Lively or possibly Daniel Gafford, depending on how the minutes are staggered. So I took him under 2.5 blocks because I think they'll try to do a lot to make him uncomfortable and pull him away from the rim. So it's a risky bet, but it was worth the juice for sure.
You know, I like it, and part of the reason why I like it is because OKC right now has the 7th ranked home defense and 2nd ranked home offense. At home, they're just a different kind of animal, and as good as Dallas is, I think it's going to be tough to beat OKC at home. I think the only way Dallas wins the series is they have to steal one in OKC.
Sure.
You know,
I got to steal 2.
Yeah, you got to steal 2. Yeah,
they have to steal 2 in OKC, or they don't win.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be tough. I mean, as good as Dallas is, I just don't know if they can slow down this OKC team. I just think that they're offensively just too much, too fast, too young. But yeah.
I will say this. Come fourth quarter, if the first 3 quarters you see is more so team versus team, right? That's meaning like everyone's involved everywhere on both sides, right? Come the fourth quarter, it will not be that. It will be Luka and Kyrie versus Shea, Jay, and Chet.
Okay,
Okay,
2-on-3. Yeah,
it's gonna be 2-on-3 come the fourth quarter, bro. No cap. That's if the first 3 quarters is looking like
right. I did, and it was one thing I wrestled with this morning was Josh Giddey. Because I think Josh is such an important player in this series. Similar to Derek Lively, where he can change the trajectory of the series for either team. If he can consistently shoot, because when they were playing New Orleans, the 2 games at home, like when he was making those corner threes, it was nothing they could really do because there was so much spacing. It was so much space out there. So I didn't touch him today, but if he has a good game tonight, I'll probably touch him game 2 for it. I think his points were like 8.5.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd rather Giddey just be a floor facilitator. If you're gonna shoot for me, Giddey, open, you better be up 7. All right.
Yeah.
OKC better be up at least 7 if Giddey's gonna shoot wide open threes. All right. If OKC is not open,
but it's situational though. It's situational. When I say that, I mean like SGA is driving.
Pass that, man.
Lou Dort is on the 3-point elbow, and then Josh is just open because they had to come and help off Shea. He got to make those today. Like if he makes those, defensively, Jason Kidd's gonna have to adjust during the first game. But like, I don't know, man. Like OKC is so good. Like I don't want to see nothing but OKC versus Minnesota. Like I don't want to see nothing else. Like that's what I want to see.
It'll be a good one for sure.
I got OKC going to the finals. So yeah,
I got Minnesota there right now. I think Minnesota might have that edge. So like that's why I think that's who wins. That's who I think wins it all. Because I think Boston is a good team, but like when you have to play against that kind of length and that size, like Minnesota is exhausting. Like that was what we saw last night. Like people don't play defense like that consistently. Like without.
And I do feel Minnesota and OKC will be probably a better matchup for the 2 teams based off of the caliber of how the coach is scheming for the offenses. Like you said, you got Giddey who can really stretch the floor because he's an awesome assist man. He has good vision, and he's not really like taking super bad shots. So he's not really like a liability for OKC when it comes to the power 7. You know what I'm saying? As I'm saying, the rotation of the players. All right. Same with the Timberwolves. You know, their power 7 is just as strong with the Naz Reid and the what's the rookie boy name?
No, we talking about Alexander Walker.
Alexander Walker, yeah, him. He could.
Well, if it is an OKC Minnesota matchup, that it will be the number one home defense against number one home offense, well, number two home offense. You know what I mean? So it'll be a battle for sure if they make it there. But before we get to talking about Denver more, we got to touch on the Pacers versus Knicks game. This game is on tomorrow at 8 o'clock. New York minus 195 on the money line, spread -5, over under set at 220. The game one over was at 217.5, and the books got totally demolished by that. If you guys tailed, I had a big bet on the over for this one. And I'll start here. I have a couple of plays. I took the game over 218. I took Indy team total over 107.5 and Knicks team total over 111.5. And just because this total is destined to go over in every single game, I don't think the books are going to be able to adjust enough. I think everyone's going to keep hammering it. Indy has gone over in 5 out of their last 6. And in 9 out of their last 11 versus the East. The over has hit in 16 out of the last 19 games for New York, in 5 out of the last 7 games for New York versus Indy, and 8 out of the last 9 games at home for New York have all gone over. I don't think we see it anymore. I don't think we see any unders in this whole series. I'm taking the over. My model has this at 112.49 for New York to 121.44 for Indy. So I actually have an Indy win here, but I stayed away from the sides in these just because I just can't decide. And I really think that the best way to attack these games to get some wins is by attacking totals and team totals. So I really like all 3 of those plays. I'll probably be putting a couple units on each one. But Cam, what do you like here?
I think game one was fun. I hate the way that it ended. I don't think there's no stronger level of influence in the NBA other than like Madison Square Garden fans. Like when you have like John Starks and Stephon Marbury and like all these guys yelling at you, like the refs aren't gonna let the Knicks lose. I do think the Pacers may have possibly won last night if that screen doesn't get called. But some of the things I'm going back to, I did it last night. I took Tyrese Halliburton under 4.5 rebounds. He's dealing with a somewhat of a back injury right now. 2 of his rebounds kind of bounced off and just came to him. He hasn't really been initiating or trying to actively go and grab boards. So it's something that I say just kept a close eye on. And then I like Pascal Siakam to go under 27.5 points and rebounds. Miles Turner was dominant last night. I think game 2, they try to adjust, but I think Miles continues to push the initiative, and I think Rick Carlisle does the same. Aaron Naismith didn't shoot well at all. I think he does better. But I also don't think TJ McConnell is as impactful offensively scoring-wise next game. But saying all that to say, I just don't think there's enough shots. Pascal likes to get cardio often in the first half, which makes it hard for him to basically get over 27.5 in the second half, because by then, like Greg said, by the time we get to the fourth quarter, it's usually 2-on-2 or 2 versus the Villanova 3 versus, Tyrese and Miles Turner, whoever's open to hit this 3. You know what I mean? So those are 2 of my plays. And then my last play for this game, I just took the Knicks money line. I don't see them covering the 5. I truly don't. But I do think the Knicks will win again. I think they play with a different level of energy defensively compared to Indiana, and what Indiana has struggled with or most teams will let them score a lot in the first game. Like they may let you, just to fill them out and see what they want to do. But once they figure out how to kind of neutralize them in the half court scheme, I think that's where you have to figure out. As far as Tibbs, I think Tibbs kind of figures out a way to slow them down, because there's not a lot that you truly can do to slow down Indiana, because even when you score, they run. They're gone. So what you have to do, because that's what happened last night. Josh Hart he actually got an assist, and by the time he was running back, the ball was already over his head. He tapped it for a turnover. But that's what they have. You have to hustle. Like, you're going to have to hustle, and Tibbs always expects that from his team, and I think they'll do the same tomorrow and pick up that win.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything you just said. Greg, what do you like? I know we are on the same page here.
I'm kind of shocked that Cam actually didn't mention white boy Dante, but we'll get back into it.
I said the Villanova 3.
It was definitely interesting. I was texted with my friend, my homegirl Sonia. She loves the Knicks. She's just diehard Knicks. Her and them Knicks fans, they're the worst fans, but they're the best fans. They're the worst. I mean, they talk about your mama. They don't care nothing about you.
They mean.
They are grimy, dog. But that lets you know what I'm saying? People that love their city. And I give that the utmost respect out of anything else. Like, there's no other city that loves their team, their organizations, like New York City backs their teams. That right there for sure is one of the biggest assets that the Knicks have this year going into playoffs. Is that home crowd. Okay, that's what's going to keep them in a lot of games this series. Similar to like Jacob was saying, almost every game is going to go over. I said this, if we go back a few games, I said that also, that every game for the Knicks and the Pacers was going to go over. I don't see it hitting under at all. Pacers just play too fast paced, and they're too well polished right now on missing little simple twos and stuff like that. Like my boy TJ McConnell, he's going to be a big factor like he was for game one. I don't necessarily see white boy Dante having another game like he had this last game. He actually saved the Knicks. Let's just call it what it was. All right, he saved the Knicks win. Okay, my boy caught fire. Now I will say that he definitely will be more productive as he was in last game, but I don't think he'll be that clutch for the Knicks come game two. Possibly Pacers definitely win, but I definitely still see them covering. But my main play for this game is the over. You don't need to buy no points, no nothing. It's 220. I'm waiting for it to get up to 227. It should be at the 240. Okay, I don't even know why they keep playing with Indiana like that. This is just a great year for these two organizations. I know Reggie Miller is very proud of his Pacers, and I know that the Garden is very proud of the Knicks. And this history of a rivalry between these two going down right now also has a lot of pressure on both sides. So that's why I say I don't necessarily know why the under would ever happen when both sides are trying to prove to their old heads and whatnot. Hey, we got y'all. So this is really one of the funnest series of round two for me. But I don't see lackluster of scoring from either side. I just see buckets.
Indiana, Indiana's the second youngest team behind Minnesota in the playoffs, I believe. And then it's OKC. So it's Minnesota, Indiana, OKC. So these are three teams that are just playing in the moment. Like the Garden ain't nothing to them. They're like, yeah, we just here. Like we just trying to win.
And to say it looks like these teams, including the Knicks, those four teams are the teams right now that's showing that they have full love for the game.
It's camaraderie. This teammate, the chemistry is like it's strong. Mike Conley got hurt in the first series, bro. He was coming off the court. He dapped up one of his boys. He did his handshake before he went to the back. They just locked in. Like it's a different level of just continuity, bro. It's just
the love, the love that those four teams right now are showing is why they are dominating in the playoffs. I feel for sure.
I know you guys don't have picks on it, but the odds for the Denver Nuggets versus T-Wolves game 3 is out. T-Wolves minus 185 on the money line, minus 4.5 on the spread, over under at 204. I'll tell you guys, I took over 203 here. I think that, it did go over this in, I think, both of them so far, right? Game 1 was 205, and okay, so it only went over in the first one. But I like this to go over here. I think the Nuggets are going to perform better. I think that the T-Wolves defense is going to get figured out a little bit. I think the Nuggets have the talent and the coaching to I think steal a win when they need to, and I think that they're going to get possibly a win in this game. But I like the over here because they're going to have to score points, and if they want to win to beat this Minnesota defense. Just any quick thoughts for you guys on these?
Yeah,
go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, all I was gonna say is I'm taking Minnesota at the spread probably. I think Denver wins game 4, and then I think Minnesota goes back and beats them in game 5. I think it'll be a gentleman's sweep. Rudy Gobert coming back, he's fresh. Just had a baby, he's motivated. I think they come out, that crowd's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I think they'll come out and win this game, and then I think game 4 Denver will still, and then I think it's gonna be a really, 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 really close game 5. But I think Anthony Edwards is gonna send them home after that. That's what it looks like in my head as of right now.
All right.
Now,
Greg?
if we recall, when we was on here last, we had Lolo on here. I told y'all this is a heavy under series, bro. All right, under. First 2 games went under. Okay, this game is also going to go under. I'm gonna give you 3 reasons why. All right, one of the reasons why is that because Minnesota for sure knows how to utilize 24 seconds of their shot clock when they had a ball. All right, slow paced offense to finding the right basket is what gives Minnesota such a bigger advantage, okay, than Denver is right now. Denver, they put their foot in their mouth. All right, Jokic out here talking about we're bred for winning. Now look at you. You ready to go back and play with your horses. You know what I'm saying? I think that what we were saying earlier, Minnesota has one of those type of defenses that you have to beat them within the 24 seconds. And if you're not going to beat them every time within the 24 seconds, there's no way this is going over. Like you just said, Rudy's coming back. They didn't even have Rudy, and they still blew them out by almost 30. So Rudy coming back is only going to make it worse. I just don't see the urgency anymore. I see no urgency anymore in Denver. Denver just really wanted to beat LeBron. Let's just call it what it is this year. They already won one. Jamal Murray over here throwing stuff on the court. Y'all showing bad sports.
Oh, he's suspended for the next game. They're probably.
See what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Y'all showing bad sportsmanship. Y'all niggas out here being some hoes.
Yeah, y'all got to get it together. Y'all not looking like champions. Y'all don't look like the reigning champions.
Yeah. It's gonna be a sweep. My boy Ant coming back to get Bron's revenge. I love that. And that's what they don't like, that he said it publicly. I'm doing this for Bron.
Right.
All right. Ain't nobody else in the league have that type of respect for other players in the league. For him to say that, man, I'm all over Minnesota for the sweep.
All right. Well, hey, before we do our best bets, I got one question real quick for you guys. We touched on this in the NHL Insiders, Cam. I don't know if you saw, but there are 4 cities right now that have 2 teams fighting for championships: Boston, Denver, Dallas, and what was the last one?
New York.
New York. Okay, so if you had to pick one city to get the double, who are you picking, Cam?
Probably Boston.
Boston? Greg?
Bruins are pretty solid. Yeah, Bruins are pretty solid.
If I had to pick to win, so sad I can't pick Colorado anymore. I probably would take New York. That if you give me 4 games at home, I'm telling you right now, Knicks, out of those four teams with the double teams, I gotta take the Knicks and I gotta take the Rangers.
All right. I'm gonna ride with Boston too. I think the Celtics and Bruins right now are both pretty dominant. So those are our picks for our doubles for the cities. But let's go ahead and recap our best bets. Cam, why don't you go ahead and take over?
No problem. So for the Cleveland-Boston game, I like Darius Garland to go over 1.5 3-pointers. I like Evan Mobley not to shoot or score a 3-pointer. Like Sam Hauser over 1.5 3-pointers, and I also like Cleveland's total over of 98.5. For the OKC. Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. For the OKC Dallas game, I like the over 218 and OKC money line. I like SGA over 34.5 points and assists, and Chet Holmgren to go under 2.5 blocks. For our Knicks Pacers game, like Tyrese Halliburton to go under 4.5 rebounds, Knicks money line, and Pascal Siakam to go under 27.5 points and rebounds.
Excellent. And tell everybody all the great stuff you have going on and where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CamWriting_, on Instagram at OneCamCarter. I'm a sports writer over at Baller Alert, and we have our own player management company called The Agglomerate. So reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, Cam is a great follow. Make sure you support him. Go like and follow all of his stuff. But Greg, go ahead and give us your best bets.
For sure. All right, man. Your boy Smackington coming in, giving y'all some pressure, man. We're going to take them Cavs plus 10.5 because it's just too many points. We saw what the Heat did to Boston. We're going to sit there in the next game, take that OKC and Mavs over 219.5. And then we're going to take the Indiana and the Knicks over 220.5.
Excellent. And where can people find you?
Yeah, right now on Instagram, you can Buku_living billionaires, or you can go to search bar, type in Smackington. I'll pop right on up. Or you can catch me on X at Buku561.
Who we got, Thunder or Mavs? You're going to have to rewatch the replay to make sure you get it, because we talked all about who we are going to be on for all these games. So, yeah, if you are...
It's going to rain on them horses, though.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give you guys my best bets, and we will get you out of here. I'm on Boston team total over 111.5. Boston, Cleveland over 209. Dallas, OKC over 217. Indy, New York over 218. Indy team total over 107.5. Knicks team total over 111.5. And Denver versus Minnesota over 203. You guys can find me here daily on the NBA and NHL Insiders, weekly on the MLS Insiders, and Betting the Pitch Europe, which we are still looking for a new name for. So if you have any ideas for that soccer show, leave it in the comments below. One person will win a gift card to somewhere if we pick your name. You guys can find me at Last Word on Sports, Give Me Sport, where I'll be starting to write soon. We have some other great stuff coming up. The wife and I just got signed up with Hoop Brothers to do some work for them. So we'll have some cool stuff coming out there. And catch me on TikTok at Pick Management. We have some new stuff and ads going on over there. Of course, on Twitter at Pick Management. Make sure you sign up for the Discord and the Rhythm. Otherwise, that'll do it for the NBA Insiders. We will see you later.
On stepping, I'm a rockstar and Ramones. House dilemma, cribbo got too many rooms. I got shooters in the field, they running zones. When I switch, make some shake for me, stop playing. On stepping, I'm a rockstar.